I'm John. 4 years ago, I started a video editing business thinking I'd edit corporate explainers and social media content. Instead, I ended up preserving people's legacies. Here's how that happened. When I started this business, I thought I'd look through some of the freelance platforms and see if there were any editing projects that people might hire me for. A friend suggested I check those out, and I thought, if I'm remote and not able to show up with a camera crew, do people really have the footage that they need edited already? I'm not talking Hollywood studios, but just everyday families or businesses. And by the end of next week, I was deep into a project for a guy who had just taken his family on a once-in-a-lifetime trip from LA to India to spread his father's ashes in the Ganges River. Families showed up with footage from reunions and epic trips, moments that had defined their lives. Filmmakers were working on projects that actually mattered. Even companies were now thinking about how best to make a difference, not just create more content. The footage people have somehow chosen to entrust me with is irreplaceable. And I realized something shifted for me on that very first paid project. This was a once-in-a-generation event, and it meant the world to them, and somehow I was a part of it. I was so nervous, and I was just trying not to screw it up. A lot of the technical aspects of the editing that I thought I didn't have in my skill set at that time didn't really matter to them. They wanted their story told. The clients who then found me,
it's been a few years since we started the vlog, but here
they kept asking for similar things.
My name is Robert Dunham.
Nonprofit that inspires and prepares young people for success. Through all of my careers, cruise ships, ad agencies, startups with novel ideas, I'd never quite realized a sense of purpose quite like this. This is the work that matters for the long term. So what is it about, this channel? The creative process inside an edit, we're taking a mass of messy footage and using it to tell their story. Moments that are just too good not to share, client approved of course, and the real insight from documenting and preserving what matters. These wall cards that are on my studio wall, my ritual after finishing interesting projects. My AI assistant Claude suggested I say that I smoke a cigarette after every edit. Not a good fit. People are often surprised and even brought to tears when seeing what can be done with their photos and their video footage. Old photos and frames and albums can be compiled and used to tell a story. Shaky camera footage can be stabilized, and even the least professional films can be recolored. And in every group, someone always pulls through with phone footage or GoPro footage. Consider commenting to tell me what footage is sitting on your phone right now that you regret not doing something with. Consider subscribing if the idea of preserving your legacy is intriguing, or if you're curious about what goes on inside this craft. There's a link below where you can book a free consultation. I'll listen to what you're trying to create, and I'll tell you honestly whether or not I'm the right person to help. Thanks for being here.